Hello there, my name is ChrisTenarium, and today I'm playing England Exchange, the new game by Hanako Games, because I literally play all of them. As you can gather by the title, it's a game about an exchange student, I think, going to England. I do not want to see any bad stereotypes. If I even see like one red telephone box being over-stylized and amazing, or a chimney sweep, I'm gonna cry. And I'm going to riot, and I'm going to do both. Alright, we can be Malia or Flynn. Well, I mean, in visual novels, well, the thing is, I mean, yeah, the guy looks like the normal sort of main character of, hey, I need to impress my parents, so let's not bother. Of course, you can be, okay, Piggy. There we go. Tomorrow you're leaving for England. Let's have a moment of silence for our fallen comrade. Fallen comrade? Fallen comrade? Oggy Pig is going across the ocean, not dying. Hey, we call it a pond, thank you very much. That's what you think. Cheers! We clicked our glasses together, of course. Jinsu was the only one old enough to drink. Nene and I couldn't even walk into most bars with how strict the ID checks have gotten. It's fine, just don't live in anywhere stylish. Live in like a village or a town in buttfuck nowhere, they'll serve anyone. At least in casual dining even, the waiters generally only carded the person who ordered the drink. Jinsu pounded his chest as his fireball lemonade went down. Fireball lemonade, I don't know what that is, but it sounds awful. You'll be able to drink once you're over there too. Good, so we're between the ages of 18 and 21. Woo, you should try it. He winked at me. Maybe? I have tasted one or two things in my life, but since I'm not supposed to be drinking at all, I've definitely never been drunk. You are not like most teenagers. I dare say that most people have gotten at least drunk by the time they're 18, I'd imagine. Maybe that's just me, who knows. I don't know if getting smashed at bars is kind of the adventure I want. No, not that. You can, like, buy stuff and bring it home and drink it with friends. It don't have to get smashed in front of people you don't know, probably. So what adventure do you want? Also, is that Nene? Nene? I have no idea how to pronounce her name. I swirled my non-alcoholic, non-fiery lemonade around in my glass. Mildly disappointed. To be honest, I hadn't thought about it that much. In the rush to pack and get all my documents in order after New Year's, I'd been able to ignore what all the preparation was for. I made the decision to travel abroad to England for a semester on impulse. The spur of the moment. It sounded like fun, that was all. Wow, that's a woeful idea. You should probably not do that on a whim. At least you didn't decide to go to Germany, or a country where they don't speak English. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I felt like I barely knew who I was, to be honest. The idea to take a semester abroad wasn't a new one. It was an almost cliché tactic for broadening one's horizons. But I really did want to discover myself. You're going to England. Soon you too will know abject misery. Even more than that, I wanted to change myself. I knew that sometimes I could be far too shy. I'd never had a serious romantic relationship, never been kissed beyond a tiny peck. I couldn't approach strangers even just to ask for directions. So what you're saying is you're shy, okay? And when it came to pressure, I don't know. Caved. That's so like you. You're spending a year of your life on this trip. Shouldn't you have a goal in mind? Hang on, I thought we were here for a semester. We're not there for a year. Not everyone has to have a goal. They can just go with the flow. And end up like you? No, she's better than that. The two glared at each other, their year-long rivalry coming to a boil. Guys, please. Oh, speaking of goals... They came off the topic rather quickly. When are you going to get yourself a boyfriend? Oh, here we go again. I don't need one. I've had my whole life to figure it out. I don't have time to waste on some dumb boy. Or girl. Or girl, whichever. I don't need someone else to make my life complete. But it would be nice, wouldn't it? Maybe if the right person comes along. Until then, I've got other things to do. Hey, Nene, you don't seem unsufferable. Do you want to try it? Just come to England with me. It'll be great. No. You can't just wait. You've got to go out there and find him. It's weird, because these characters have portraits. Which I presume they means will show up later on in the game. They can't just be a one, like, showing up for 5 minutes at the beginning of the game and they never appear again. Anyway, no, you can't just wait. You've got to go out there and find him. You don't even give the guys in front of you a chance. Or girls. Or girls. Well, I don't have to explain myself to you. I turned my head as Nene fumed. Did you do that to me? Whoa, it's her last day in the States and I want her to live to reach the airport. I just can't wait to watch her eat her words. She sat back in her chair and Jinsu grinned at me. To be fair, anyone who says I don't have to prove myself to you is someone whom I'm not going to take a side with. They are friends, for God's sake. She sat back in her chair and Jinsu grinned at me. It's the perfect time to experiment. Anyway, you're there for a whole semester and then you're gone. So, you know, if it turns out you don't like girls, you'll never have to see her again. No lingering awkwardness. Is Jinsu aware of the internet? We're called Ogu Pigu. It's not going to be too fucking difficult to find us on Facebook, is it? I know you're going to look for adventure, but other people are the best adventure you'll ever get. So why not? What's the worst that can happen? Well, what was the worst that could happen? I don't know. Taken 4? Getting arrested, then deported and banned from entering England ever again, probably, but even then, at least it would be a clean break. No matter how big New York City was, you always seemed to run into exactly who you least wanted to see. But in England? Not to mention, they have some really nice accents. Maybe, okay, how's that? I'll give you a maybe. I mean, where are we going? If we're going to Birmingham, or, like, Leeds, we're not allowed to say that they have nice accents. I presume we're going to London, because... I mean, come on, it's an American going to England for a semester. It's hardly going to be, oh yeah, they're going to Hull, they are. Going to fucking Hull. What's in Hull, Daddy? Well, fucking chip spice and fucking weird accents where they can't say t properly and they can't say glass. Nene and Jinsu high-fived. Yes, people do really talk like that, I promise you. I wondered how long they'd been planning this attack. Be sure to tell me everything about him, or her, Jinsu, look, do you want to just ask for a video recording whilst you're at it, my lord? Far too soon the night ended. I rode the subway back to the Bronx, and went home. The last time I would be home for nearly half a year. Where's the Bronx? Is that like New York? Probably. Waking up at 6 was tomorrow. 8 hours of flying was tomorrow. England was tomorrow. And maybe even a new me was tomorrow. What the heck had I gotten myself into? Sighing, I tried to distance myself from my thoughts. England, huh? Let's hope something changes. Or something has to. Oh, that's a lovely looking flag in the background. That literally looks like... It looks like it's made from charcoal. I got off the airplane, immediately feeling disorientated. What airplane has planes that close to windows? They're normally miles away from where the passengers are, aren't they? Yeah, whatever. I've flown a lot. I guess I can't be too picky. Also, hang on a second. Hang on a second. This is showing the same way. There's no stairs here. Baggage up, connecting flights down. You can only go in a straight line. Oh, so much. This airport. I'd be confused. I'd call the local council. I got off the airplane immediately feeling disorientated. I was in another country, but to be honest, it didn't look too much different from the US. I know. It was a little less crowded than JFK. Oh, I don't know. Fucking... Hang on, JFK's Dallas, isn't it? JFK Airport? So we're from Dallas. How exotic. Woo! But the architecture at Heathrow Airport felt a lot like home. The only real difference was the accents. Heathrow, yeah, there we are. We're in England, of course. We're in London, sorry. Of course we are. Where else would you go to? I had expected everyone to sound like BBC announcers, but there was such a mix from the Scottish customs agent to the newspaper seller, who I think was Jamaican or something. It really brought home how much England was part of Europe. Hang on, I just need to reread something. The newspaper seller who I think was Jamaican or something. Jamaican or something. Scottish. It really brought home to me how much England was part of Europe. I mean, Scotland's still the UK and Jamaica's nowhere near fucking Europe. People here came from everywhere. Whatever, I made my way through customs and out into London air. It was cloudy as I suppose I could expect from now on, and the January winds were chilly. There was no snow on the streets. I had been warned that it almost never snowed in London, unlike NYC. Hang on, so NYC has JFK Airport? Duh, fuck it, I don't know. I don't need to know about America. The Bronx Bombers are a New York team, I'm pretty sure, now I think about it. Details. It did look damp, though, and grey. Very grey. I waited by the cab stop for a driver to be free. He threw my suitcase into his trunk, and off we went. On the wrong side of the road. To distract myself from my sense of impending doom, I envisioned the hostel I would be staying at. The wrong side of the road? This is a one-way street! Oh yeah, they went down the middle! That's a terrible way to go! We normally drive into the bollards and the pavement in America! To distract myself from, I envisioned the hostel I would be staying at. I would be doing a work, study, travel kind of program. The hostel provided my room and partial board, as well as a part-time job from which they kept a share of the pay. It was all connected to a local university through some kind of deal, so I could take classes there. The program wasn't free, but because of the work portion, it actually came out cheaper than the semester of normal classes back in New York City would be. As long as I didn't flunk out and get sent home, my parents would be happy. It was a cramped, quiet ride through the streets. It didn't take long until we were surrounded by tall, older-looking buildings made of stone. So, I just want to say something quickly. This is completely inaccurate. There is no, chewing gum on the pavement at all. Completely inaccurate. That's pretty shocking. Pavement is sidewalk, by the way. Different styles of architecture mingled with one another, highly modernized buildings next to grandiose structures that looked like they had housed nobilities in their better days. Hordes of Londoners with grim expressions pushed their way through the streets. I had heard the British were more polite and well-mannered than us. Ha! Less likely to show their emotions, more intelligent. Better in every way, basically, but London looked like a slightly prettier New York. We're north of the river, I presume. America, yeah, we're in Heathrow, of course we are. As I went in, as I knew it, mostly came from the English only a few hundred years ago. Surely the cultural differences weren't that big a deal. Australia isn't that old, and look at the absurd accent that they developed. I mean, come on now. They wouldn't think of me as just some dumb American, would they? They will if you keep saying that. Before I could ponder this too much, the cab came to a sudden halt. This looks like England. Little bit too much grass, but... Hang on, the one? Man. That person probably needs a better... name. The cab driver got out and grabbed my bags, but not before pointing to a machine on the back of the seat in front of me to run my cards through. I swiped one. That's a bad sign. What? Maybe the card doesn't work here. Trying to quell my rising panic, I grabbed another card and ran it through. You've got to be kidding me. I didn't have any other cards. The cabbie was standing outside the hostel with my bags, tapping a foot impatiently. I crawled out of the car and dug through my carry-on. Trembling, I held out 4 $20 bills. American bills. I can't accept foreign currency. I'm sorry, but my cards aren't working. Did you not tell your bank that you were going out of the country? Is that something you have to do? When she said YOLO, she wasn't kidding, was she? She really is YOLOing a trip to England. You stupid Americans. Whoa, calm down there. A man with dark brown hair and a kind face appeared in front of me, having just come back from the hostel entrance. He looks rather rugged, if for lack of a better term. What seems to be the problem here? He glanced at the money in my hands and nodded. Hand me $1, I'll cover your fare. Fine, as long as someone pays, I don't care who. The cabbie showed him the card machine and he bent down to pay. Thank you. Through my terror, I began to stutter, but the man just waved his hand. Don't worry about it, you aren't the first person this has happened to. I'm not, thank goodness, he's lying to you. Well, most people are smarter than to take a cab they can't pay for, but, you know. He finished paying, and the cabbie jumped into his car, slammed the door, and revved off down the street. I'm Danny, by the way. You must be one of our new arrivals. Indeed I am. I'm Ogu Pigu. Nice to meet you. I promised you that I am American. Nice to meet him indeed. I'll grab your bags. Why don't you come in? I can show you around. Thanks. What is this music? It's decidedly rocky. The outside of the one hostel seemed almost promising. It does? Okay. It was a medium-sized 2-floor building, and the small yard leading up to the front door was fairly well maintained. Danny hoisted my suitcases and pushed through my front door of my new home. I followed him behind. Welcome home. There are clocks with different times of the day on there. Now, not to be pedantic, but do they... I've seen this a lot, but do you really need a Paris clock in England? It's 8:30. I need a clock to tell me what the time is an hour ahead. It's 9:30 in Paris. Like, the front room was a small kind of entryway with 2 doors leading out on either side of me and a staircase leading out of sight. The walls were not as clean as I would have liked. A small desk sat next to the doorway where Danny quickly set my suitcase and reached for some paperwork. Let's see, Ogu Pigu, Ogu Pigu. Here you are! It looks like you've been assigned to work as a maid. All the rest of your board and lodging seems to be sorted. Well, I'll give you a quick run-through of the house rules, shall I? There are 7 of us at the moment who board here regularly, and a couple of extra rooms for overnights and short-term lets, but they're not often used. So with you here, there will be 8 of us in total, provided James isn't hidden somewhere in the attic like in that old novel. Alright, okay, literature is where my knowledge of English culture falls down, I'm afraid. Sort of all Spanish. He laughed, but I just stared at him. British people don't actually do that, right? So we're naive and stupid. Good. Anyways, we have a kitchen and a cafeteria. There's communal food in the fridge, and sometimes people make meals that others can share and we eat together. I don't think anyone announces it though, so you've got to come in on time. Just aim for whenever Ashley's not at work. She loves to cook for us. The living room is shared space. We all work together to keep things neat and tidy as well. So clean up after yourself. Don't leave stuff laying about. Quiet time after 10 o'clock also. Most of us are students and we need our sleep to keep up with classes. What? Oh, it's going to have a massive rave. To be honest, I don't actually know what all the others are here for. There's some girl who I see in the halls sometimes. I haven't officially met her, but I've not seen her at uni. Don't know what she's doing. I don't know, probably living off cheap board and rooms and going elsewhere. Anyway, Peggy and I usually... Peggy... It's the 1950s! And then Barbara showed up, and then Charles came rushing through. Peggy and I especially need quiet after hours, now loud music and all that. Not that I guess you'll be staying up too late, considering what your work schedule will likely be like. You'll be able to set most things yourself, however, what classes you take, what you do with your spare time, extra work shifts to pick up, who you befriend. You get to do whatever you want, but be careful too. That means you can't blame anyone else if things don't go the way you want them to. He started sounding like a parent lecturing their child in their first day of college, but I bit my tongue. He's trying to be nice. Before he could continue, a rather scruffy man came in through the front door behind me. Holy shit, they're not joking. Normally when scruffy, they mean like my rubbish beard I've got going on here, or Danny's crap beard. This dude, I mean, he's definitely got the full Hugh Jackman going, hasn't he? Coffee stains, at least. I hope they were coffee stains. What, do you think he's shitting on his chest? Yes, they're probably coffee stains. Dotted his shirt, and I swear there were breadcrumbs in the corner of his mouth. He looked from me to Danny, nodded, and started climbing the stairs up. That's James. He doesn't like having much to do with us, to be honest, so I give him his space, try not to get on his bad side. I nodded. So what is there to do for fun around here? Anything in particular I should see or do? He put a hand to his chin. Well, what do you want to do? What do you want to get out of this trip here? You can study hard and get ahead, or you can go out partying every night and get trashed. We'll remember, but unless you add us on social media, no one back home will know. We won't be able to tag you in pictures. Good, good. Good thing I stayed far away from that sort of thing. I guess you can check out the stereotypical landmarks, the monument and the Eye and Big Ben and all that, but I'd recommend just wandering around the city. Oh, yes. What did you get from your trip of London? Well, I roamed the city, I walked the streets, and I found these magical restaurants and buildings. McDonald's, Burger King, and a bakery called Greg's. It's fucking like middle-ish London, I imagine. I'm not sure what you expect to find. With a daily travel card, you can go anywhere you like. London's crammed full of sights most tourists miss because they're too busy trying to make the Queen's Guards laugh. Oh, and I have a soccer to you, team here that I run with the school. You can come to tryouts and see if that's the sort of thing you want to do. Soccer tryouts. I mean, I never really did sports that much at home. They weren't really much my style, but maybe now was a good time to change that. It would definitely mean I'd get more time hanging out with Danny. Suddenly there was a distant, dull thudding noise, then the door to my right flew open. Oh, here comes Angelo. Another exchange student? Yep, another exchange student. Hello, Angelo. A short, sullen young man entered the room and stood there staring at me. Who are you? This is your new partner, Oggy Piggy. You'll be working together, remember? Oh, you. Angelo's one of our maids. I'm not a maid, I'm a housekeeper. Look, it's not normal for me to be doing this kind of work. It was a misunderstanding. Capisci? Capiche? They thought my name was Angela, not Angelo, so they assigned me as if I were a woman. Oh, it's a bit sexist, Angelo. Shudder. Surely the assignments were random. England wasn't medieval. There was no way why only women should work in housekeeping. Yeah. Was this kid really old enough to be employed in this kind of program? He looked like he might still be in high school. Really? And seemed to think like he was a high school boy too. Well, it's nice to meet you. I held out my hand for him to shake and he looked as if it were dirty. Finally, he touched my hand, but only for a moment, and let go without giving it a shake. He's hoping we'd get along, right? He glared at me and continued to the next room. Don't mind Angelo, he's got a bit of a temper and maybe a bit of a bleeding heart, but he's a good guy deep down. But try not to take away his views too personally. He's had a strange upbringing. I think being here will be good for him. Isn't he a little young to be around here? Young? No, he's 19. 19? Seriously? Yes, he looks 19. Ha! I was surprised too. He has a baby face. Don't mention it to him that I thought he was so young, though. He'll get offended. He likes to be manly, that one. Anyways, you probably want to see your room now, don't you? All the rooms are upstairs. The door Angelo just went into is the kitchen and dining room area. He just came out of the living room area. Things aren't always the nicest here, so I'm certain you can guess, seeing as how you've already met James, the hostel owner. Yeah, if he's the owner, then, you know, he doesn't have to give a shit. That guy was the hostel owner? Seriously? Wait, then who are you? Me? Did I not properly introduce myself? No. I'm Danny, biology major and overall bang-up guy. He jammed a thumbs up into the air in an over-exuberant expression of joy. I stared at him blankly and he shrugged it off. I'm just someone who lives here for right now. I think my room's across the hall from yours, actually. We headed up the rickety creaking staircase and into a long and narrow hallway. Doors lined up on either side, and I could hear some obnoxiously loud foreign music thrumming. Through a wall? Thrumming? Humming? I've never heard of thrumming before. It's fine. Probably just don't know it. I couldn't quite make out the words, but I thought they might be French. Danny noticed my confused look. What's that? That's Mark. You'll probably meet him eventually. He's cute. Cute? Did he mean like, oh, what a sweet guy? Or cute like sarcastic cute, like he's actually annoying? Or was Danny gay? Hang on a minute, what? No, cute as in attractive. Is that a thing Americans do? Do they not use cute in the same way we do? Huh. One of those things was something I needed to know. Not that I was likely to make a move on Danny. I was, well, too pathetic for that, even in England. It would be nice to know what my options were, though. Options, my lord. This is serving boys a la carte. It's like, I'll have Danny for appetizers, please. Anyway, your room's the one on the right here. You got a key and such. Lose a shared. 1 to every 2 rooms. That's a toilet to you. And there's a shower room at the end of the hall that we all share. It's not too bad, though, because we never run out of hot water, and you can lock the door so people don't run in on you. Just make sure you knock before entering. Some people here don't mind leaving their doors unlocked. Thanks. He put a golden key in my hand and motioned to my bedroom. Well, why don't you do the honors? I nodded and unlocked the door, then hard thumping, I pushed it open. Let me guess, it's a normal door. My room was small and a bit dingy, the paint was peeling, the carpet was faded, and somebody had taken permanent marker to the wardrobe doors, but despite that, it managed to look colourful and somewhat inviting. This is a lot better than I expected. It doesn't look like a complete shithole. So, I guess there's that. It smelled a little musty too. I wanted to ask when the last time someone had cleaned was, but I figured that was exactly why Angelo and I were assigned as maids. Housekeepers. Either's fine! You can say either! Ugh. The balcony view, though, probably made this place count as luxury digs for London. I'm sure you're pretty tired and just want to unpack, so I'll let you do that now. If you need me, I'm usually in my room or wandering around the hostel. Or I'm not here at all, so if you can't find me, I'm probably gone. Just ask someone else in that case. Everyone's pretty friendly. Mostly. Alright, other than James and Angelo, I'll just knock on some random dude's door. A dark look crossed his face, but he shook his head. Anyways, I gotta go study the life of a scholar, right? Talk to you later. He saluted me and crossed the door. I was alone in my slightly chilly room, staring at the suitcase at my feet, all alone in a foreign country. A wave of panic rose in my chest, and I stared at the suitcase, willing it to go away. Deep breaths. You knew this would happen at first. Just take one step at a time. First things first, unpack. I mean, this room, the way it's already been drawn would suggest that you already have unpacked. But sure, let's unpack.